Greetings, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the introduction to philosophy of the human person. I'm Alicia Mitch A. Camrell from 11 Hardwork. But before we jump into our new topic, let us observe the following illustrations. As we can see, we can already identify the differences between animals and humans. In this picture, animals act instinctively, meaning their actions are more likely predetermined responses to certain stimuli. A person, on the other hand, can choose the course of action to take when given a stimulus or faced with a certain situation. Now, this talks about our new topic for today, which is the freedom of a human person. At the end of our discussion, we are expected to discuss the meaning, kinds, and elements of freedom, understand the components of a free and voluntary act, and lastly, illustrate the factors that affect the voluntariness of human acts. But before we do that, let us test our knowledge to our new topic. Pre-test. Feel free to pause the video and answer them correctly. These are the key answers. Now, let us talk about freedom. Freedom is an intrinsic property of a person. The human person is by nature free and seeks freedom. It is also the power to create and define oneself. Freedom is experienced through the act of making choice. It means that freedom is a natural and essential part of being human, something that exists within us and defines who we are. There are three kinds of freedom. First is this physical freedom. It refers to the absence of any physical restraint. The person has the mobility to go where he or she wants to go. In short, physical freedom is the freedom to choose or to take action where you want to go. Examples are going to the mall, but being on a quarantine, being on jail, and being on mental hospital doesn't have the physical freedom. Next is the psychological freedom, also called the freedom of choice. The person is free to perform actions that he or she considers right and wise. We have the freedom to choose our friends, to choose our partners, or even our strand. Next is the moral freedom. It refers to using freedom in a manner that upholds a human dignity and goodness. Freedom that is not an object that a person may use in whatever way he or she pleases. So, in short, moral freedom is using freedom in order to do good things. Example is volunteering to programs that care for our environment, taking care of other people, such as the poor and needy or the elders. So in this illustration, we can see a boy volunteering or giving his umbrella to a girl who is drenched in rain. So in this illustration, this shows the two elements of freedom, which is one, voluntariness, the ability of a person to act out of his or her own free will and self-determination. This means that a person may decide to act or not to act. So in this illustration, the boy chose to give his umbrella without anyone telling him to do it. Next is the responsibility. Because the boy gave his umbrella to the girl, now he's drenched in rain. That is him being accountable for his action of him giving the umbrella to the girl. So, voluntariness and responsibility go hand in hand in determining freedom. So, whenever we make a choice, voluntariness and responsibility are twins. So, in conclusion, human freedom should be exercised with control and a recognition of reasonable limits. As rational beings, we need to think before we act. So, in our post test, feel free to pause the video and answer them. Here are the key answers. And to end our discussion, I have a quote from Peter Marshall, the chaplain of the U.S. Senate. May we think of freedom not as the right to do as we please, but as the opportunity to do what is right. That's all, and thank you everyone for listening. Hope you liked the video. Make sure to subscribe and follow if you understand the lesson. Thank you.